Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Lance Wood. I'm the Science and Operations Officer here at the National Weather Service Houston Galveston office. And we're going to discuss the Gulf Disturbance 94L, which I'm sure you've been following in a lot of our email briefings. Well, the disturbance right now, it's currently pretty disorganized. We just listened to a conference call a couple hours ago with the Hurricane Center, and it's actually kind of hard to find a distinct center because it's what we have is a tropical wave kind of in the lower levels of the atmosphere interacting with an upper level trough. So you can kind of see the cloudiness is kind of elongated from the southwest to the northeast right now. If you have to find a center to at least initialize your models with, they're picking kind of near the Bay of Campeche, southern coastline there, kind of right on the edge of the Gulf of Mexico. What's interesting is although it's pretty disorganized, consensus of our better modeling indicates that it has a really high chance of developing into a tropical depression or a tropical storm here as we get into tomorrow and tomorrow night. So it's expected to drift off here to the northwest over the next 24 hours and then sort of start getting its act together. And then once it gets into the very far western Gulf and likely becomes a depression, like I said, probably tomorrow night, should then begin moving more to the north. So most of our guidance is in pretty good agreement with that. The only issue is, it could still move inland into northern Mexico, or it could stay offshore as it's kind of organizing there tomorrow and tomorrow night. So that's why we still have some uncertainties. We need to sort of see exactly where that formation occurs. But again, the general expectation is in the short term, it moves northwest and shifts to a more northern movement in the far western Gulf or right along the Mexican and Texas coastline. If it does remain offshore, especially as it's approaching Texas later on, it's likely to become a tropical storm as the water in the Gulf of Mexico is pretty warm. So let's take a look at the rainfall. This is one of the issues that we're definitely concerned about. We have really deep tropical moisture that will actually start moving into the area tomorrow, and then showers become a lot more likely as we get into Sunday night and into Monday morning. But if we take a look at the forecast period here from Sunday into Tuesday morning, and this is primarily happening kind of early Monday night for this far left image. But we could see some 5, 6, 7 inches of rain there fall right along the immediate coast, possibly a little bit higher than that in isolated amounts. And then as we move into Tuesday, still seeing some of that heavy rainfall, and then some of it may begin to kind of shift off to our northeast as we move into Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So our period of main concern is Monday night into Tuesday, and that could extend into Tuesday night. Now we know there's going to be some locally higher amounts than what you're seeing here, and that's really what concerns us more than anything, is that where we have some banding, maybe some slow moving banding, as we've seen with other tropical cyclones, we can get isolated higher totals than these aerial average amounts. And so when we look at sort of the whole week here, summing up kind of like it's mainly Sunday night, Monday morning through Wednesday, Thursday is the main period, could see average amounts of 5 to 10 inches, especially across our coastal counties, and possibly into portions of that first inland tier of counties. So that's our area of concern primarily at the moment. So going along with those amounts, taking a look at the excessive rainfall outlook, again, this is really more for Sunday night into Monday morning than Sunday, but the day 2 outlook technically begins tomorrow. There's a marginal risk, so not expecting anything too big there until we get into Monday. And then Monday night, the threat really goes up for the heavy rainfall and the flash flooding. And right now it's a slight risk, which is basically sort of a localized flooding issue. And that's kind of your typical vulnerable spots. Maybe some urban flooding would be the primary concern. It's possible if confidence goes up, especially confidence in the exact track, then we might see a moderate being issued there. Right now it's in the day 3 period, but tomorrow our moderate would be in the day 2 period. So we're kind of monitoring that. Also, I think it's pretty likely we're going to see a flash flood watch that we issue here from our office, and that would occur tomorrow for the sort of Monday, Tuesday time frame, and especially for that southeastern portions of our area there in Southeast Texas. The tide forecast, so kind of a gradual increase in our water levels is expected, and it'll begin tomorrow. Probably wouldn't be problematic until we get into Monday and Tuesday. Of course, this is really, it's a little more uncertain than these graphs are indicating because this is just one model. This is an ensemble of using the GFS, but when we look at some of the other models, there's a little bit more track uncertainty here, I think, and intensity uncertainty. So these peaks that you see at the high tide times, it could be a little bit higher than that, especially as we get into later on the day and Monday and into Tuesday. So kind of stay tuned on that. But right now, what the expectation is we'd have at least some minor coastal flooding kind of in the usual places at our high tide times on Monday and Tuesday. And we'll kind of monitor again to see how the forecast track exactly pans out and the intensity pans out for some of those peak water levels. The wave heights, also expecting those to increase. So the arrival times for 6+ foot seas within 20 nautical miles looks to be early Monday for the upper southeast Texas coast. Of course, right now we're not forecasting sustained 30+ winds, although it's a definite possibility. So we could get more confidence on that tomorrow, I think, as our disturbance starts to really organize, most likely. So some of the key takeaways. 94L is expected to become a tropical depression or storm Sunday or Sunday night. There is the possibility, and this is the main reason I'm doing the webinar here, that we could have a tropical storm making landfall along the Texas coast, generally in that Monday evening through Tuesday period. So we also could see tropical storm watches and warnings being issued tomorrow for that threat that we would have kind of late Monday into Tuesday. And something that we're really pretty confident about is that we're going to have a heavy rainfall flash flood threat, regardless if we see, an intensification to a tropical storm or not. I think we're going to have that threat again, especially for our southeast areas, and that will begin kind of early Monday as we're beginning to see more widespread precipitation coming in off the Gulf. And we also expect at this point at least minor coastal flooding. If we did see a tropical storm on, say, late Monday and into Tuesday making landfall, we could have some moderate coastal flooding. Of course, it depends on the location of that landfall. So forecast confidence is kind of tricky, mainly because it's a summation of a bunch of different things. But right now, we're pretty confident that we're going to see a tropical cyclone form based on the modeling that we're seeing, and that will move northward in the far northwestern Gulf. And because of all that moisture and this disturbance headed our way, we're pretty confident on the heavy rainfall, especially along the coast and just inland. But because we haven't had formation yet, so we have a general idea of this track coming northward near the coast, but the exact track is going to be important because it could be really close to land when it's near northern Mexico or Texas, and that's important for the intensity forecast. It's also important for setting up the exact axis of heavy rainfall, which could still shift pretty easily, in 50, 60, 70 miles, either inland or even a little bit offshore. So those are the kind of things right now that we are monitoring with this forecast. So the next webinar, Dan will be in the office tomorrow, and he's going to, we've set it for 10:30. And the reason it's at 10:30 is we have the expectation of some tropical storm watches or warnings likely going up tomorrow. So if that happens, there may be a 10 a.m. advisory from the Hurricane Center. So that's why we've set it at 10:30 to go over that potential advisory that we may have at that time. So I know you've been answering some questions, and Tim's been helping us out with that.